guys a full out vlog of my labor, but of course it didn't go as I planned it to. But then again, how many of us have had labors that has gone how we expected it to go? Not me. So today's video is literally all about my experience with giving birth. I did not give natural birth, which I really wanted to give a stab, but unfortunately I had to have a C-section. It wasn't quite an emergency C-section, but it almost was an emergency C-section, which was scary as fuck. So what I'm gonna talk about today is my experience with getting a C-section and just my labor and delivery experience overall. Before I get started with this video, first I want to give a shout out to Kaiser Permanente, the San Francisco Gary site. You guys did a fucking awesome job. I thought that it was going to be so much worse than what it was, but you guys really did a good job taking care of me and making sure mentally I was stable, because that was a hell of a fucking experience. I did not make it the full 40 weeks of labor. Around 35 weeks, I started having issues with my blood pressure. I was experiencing a lot of swelling, and I had really high blood pressure. They put me on watch. They labeled me hypertension, which means I just have high blood pressure. They tested me for preeclampsia, which is just measuring the amount of protein I have in my urine. And that's how they measure, that's how they tell if you have preeclampsia or not. I did not have preeclampsia. I had the earlier stage of it, which was just hypertension. I went to labor and delivery a couple times for them to monitor my blood pressure over a few hours to see if it stays high or if it drops. After going through that a couple times, we decided that it was in my best interest to get induced at 37 weeks. So when you get induced, they literally force you to go in labor, which I kind of was like, relieved about, because I'm like, oh, okay, so if I get induced, then labor shouldn't be that long. You're literally putting me into labor, you're forcing contractions. I feel like my experience should be easier because you're helping me out with the contractions and things of that nature. But I was fucking wrong. Who has ever been induced before? How was your induction experience? So for me, what they did is they literally took this long tube and stuck it into my cervix, which was not dilated. At the end of the tube, there's a balloon. What they do is they fill the balloon up with water, which puts pressures on your cervix to help open it up. So from my understanding, you're not supposed to get contractions when they do this part. But for me, I was fucking getting contractions that they couldn't even measure on the goddamn machine. After that, they gave me this little small pill, half of this little tiny small pill that was supposed to soften up my cervix. Again, this is not the Pitocin yet. The Pitocin triggers contractions. The pill was supposed to just soften up my uterus, which is like priming the process. And the balloon is just to kind of get me started in terms of opening up my cervix. So I didn't even get as far as the Pitocin. They gave me the little pill to soften up my uterus. And after that, everything started fucking going wrong. First of all, that shit was hurting like fucking crazy. And this is when I first started thinking within myself, like, girl, I don't know how far you're gonna make this. You might want to consider epidural. But the other side of me was saying, you don't want to get an epidural too early because you want to be able to move around and progress the labor and, you know, get this done as soon as possible. You could hang on and do it. But my other side was like, girl, No, the fuck you can't. Get the goddamn epidural. I don't give a fuck how early it is. Start asking questions about it. After like a couple hours or so, shit went terribly wrong. Like literally shit turned for the worse. I was sitting there, I was playing my music on my Bluetooth. I told you guys that I would use my Bluetooth speaker. I was using the fuck out of it for like a few minutes. So I was in there, I was listening to my Bluetooth speaker. I was starting to get a rhythm going with dealing with the pain, coping with the pain. And all of a sudden, when I tell you about 10 doctors rushed into my room, I feel like every last doctor that was in the hospital was in my room. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. Like, I was literally sitting there thinking to myself, oh, they must be doing some training or something, and they have all the new doctors in here to see how my induction is going. That was my first mind. So literally I'm sitting there in pain. My boyfriend's to the left of me, holding my hand, relieving all my pain by me squeezing his hand. And all of these doctors are in the room. My mom's in the corner of the room. She's just observing. I'm not really realizing what's going on because I'm literally trying to, get into a vibe. So when the supervisor doctor came in, when I tell you that this lady was so calm, she was the definition of calm. She is perfect for the job that she had. So she comes to my bedside and she calmly tells me, hey, so we were monitoring you and your baby's heart rate, and we've noticed that your son's heart rate keeps dropping. In some cases, it recovers pretty quickly, but the last time it dropped and stayed down for quite some time. So we are monitoring it, and we're a little concerned. She totally fucked up my whole entire mood in seconds. So I went from, happy that my nitrous is starting to kick in and making me feel lightheaded to scared as fuck. I'm not even gonna lie. It's probably the most scared I've been in my whole entire life. My whole entire pregnancy, I was always nervous because I know that, sometimes pregnancies don't work out. So I always try to keep that doubt out of my mind. But at the same time, I'm a worrier. So when she said that, it totally fucked up my whole entire mood. So she says that if it doesn't recover, we're going to rush you back to the surgery room and do an emergency C-section within the next couple of minutes. That fucked me up. I've had in the back of my mind that if anything went wrong and I had to get a C-section, I would be perfectly fine with that. But I didn't think that it was going to be a situation that I had to just, go through, without any thought. Like, she literally was telling me that they were about to rush me back to get an emergency C-section. And they were telling me that it's perfectly fine, don't feel nervous. They can do the C-section within minutes. They can get him out really fast. They do this all the time, and not to be worried, but that is all it actually made me, is worried. So after she told me that, I literally sat there and sobbed. Like, it wasn't even a cry. And she asked me, she said, are you crying because you're in pain, or are you crying because you're scared? I'm scared as fuck. What are you talking about? You said my son's heart rate dropped and it's not recovering. So we're sitting there and they're monitoring it, and his heart rate recovers, but they were still very much concerned about it. So what they said they wanted to do was give me a break, stop all the induction, just let me sit there for a while before they started back up, monitor his heart rate to make sure that he's okay, before they actually attempted to do it again. So I sat there for like an hour. They gave me a break, which was like the best fucking break ever. So we're chilling there. They come back in. They insert the damn thing back in my cervix, which fucking sucked. Putting in the second time. And instantly the pain came back. Instantly. It was like the pain never left. But this time it was worse. I started feeling nauseous. So I kept going to the bathroom, which sucks. I had to keep getting unhooked, go to the bathroom. I was in there throwing up and other things. And at that moment, I straight up told my boyfriend, look, I can't do this. I need an epidural right now. Like, I can't keep doing this. I need an epidural. The thing about getting an epidural was if I did ended up having to get a C-section, it cut a lot of time out of it because they could just give me the spinal block for the C-section through the IV for my epidural. So it's like a win-win. So me knowing that if I end up having to get a C-section, then I'll already be set up to get a C-section really fast. So I'm like, give me the epidural. I mean, if I end up having to get a spinal block, I feel like it's similar to epidural, so just give me a fucking epidural. So when I came out the bathroom, I'm like, can you go and get the anesthesiologist? I need an epidural. And then the lady was like, you know, it's kind of early or whatever. And I don't care. Like, I'm already having complications. I might have to get a C-section. Get me some fucking epidural now. So the anesthesiologist comes moments later. He actually came really fast. They reassured me that this is actually a really bomb-ass anesthesiologist. He always does a great job. Apparently, you can get a really shitty epidural depending on the anesthesiologist. But he was actually great. So about this goddamn epidural, when I say I was nervous about the fact that you're going to have to stick a needle in my spine to give me this medication, I was very nervous. But I asked a lot of questions before we got started. So what happens is they give you a couple different shots around your spine with a small needle to kind of numb the area. You know how you go get dental work done and they give you like that topical cream that numbs your jaw before they give you the big shot? So something similar to that. They give you a couple small shots to numb the area for them to give you the big shot. So he gave me two small shots. And then he was about to give me the big shot, but he asked me, do I feel it? I'm like, yes, that stings. So he gave me another small shot. So by the time he actually gave me the big shot, I didn't feel anything at all, which is fucking great. So he gave me the big shot, and what happens is they insert a little small rubbery tube that's not nearly as fucking hard as the IV tube. The IV tube is hard as fuck. The tube they give you in the back, I feel like is soft. So they gave me that epidural, and as soon as he puts it in there, instant relief, no more fucking pain. Instant. It was beautiful. It was fucking beautiful. For those who hate on epidurals, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I will get an epidural in a heartbeat the next time. I don't give a fuck if it takes 3 days to give birth. I will fucking sit there for 3 fucking days with my goddamn epidural and relax through the goddamn labor. I don't give a fuck. Period. So I get the epidural and I instantly fall asleep. Mind you, it's like I've been in the hospital for like 12 hours now. So I instantly go to sleep and I'm sitting there chilling, and a doctor come back in and wakes me up. Mind you, I don't feel anything. I feel great now. So the doctor comes in and was like, we've been monitoring your son's heart rate this whole time, and he still is having dips in his heart rate. It seems as though every time you have a contraction, his heart rate declines. So we can't actually see this getting any better because of the fact that we haven't even given you the Pitocin yet to trigger the big contractions. Just goes to shows us that if we do give it to you, it could be for the worse for him. Seems like he's under a lot of stress, and we don't think that this is going to get better, and we don't want it to turn into an emergency C-section. So before it gets that far, we want to give you the option of getting the C-section to just healthily bring him into the world. So me and my boyfriend actually already had a conversation before they came in, because we knew that this could possibly happen. So we already decided that if it came to them giving us the option to get the C-section, because it's the healthier route to take, that we would just do it, because the only thing that we wanted was for him to be safe. Despite the fact that that was a major surgery, and it is a bit scary, but at the same time I have faith and, you know, in a higher power, and I knew that I was going to be all right, and it was important for my son to be all right. So I said, let's do the C-section. So literally they took me back there like 30 fucking minutes. They wasted no time to go take me back there. Like 20-30 minutes, they wheeled me back there. They set me up. There was so many doctors back there working on me. It was quite the experience. The anesthesiologist came back and they gave me a stronger drug that was a spinal block. And when I tell you that this drug gave me the chills, I was in there shaking like a whole dolphin. Like I was literally in there with the shakes. So they give me the spinal blocks and I can't feel anything. I can't feel shit. Like I can't feel anything. They set me up. They put the sheet up. They bring my boyfriend in. And when I tell you I can't feel anything but like my lower body shaking, like I couldn't feel anything. Like I literally couldn't feel them doing anything. It took all of, I want to say 45 minutes for them to, the whole entire process, from getting me set up to getting him out to getting me closed back up and getting me back into my room. Literally, that's it. That's all it took. So I'm in there, I'm in surgery, they take him out, they show me him, and it's like the most emotional moment in my whole entire life, to see him safely out after all of that shit, like literally. The only thing with that damn drug, other than it giving you the shakes, is it was really difficult for me to stay conscious, and that's all I wanted to do, is stay conscious, because I was nervous if I fall asleep, then I'll wake up and not know what the fuck happened. And I didn't want that. But I did ask the anesthesiologist what happens if I fall asleep, because I was exhausted as soon as she gave it to me. So she reassured me that if I fall asleep, that'd be perfectly fine. It wouldn't cause any problems, that it was cool. The crazy thing about to get into C-section, when they removed him from me, all I felt was hunger, like emptiness. Like I instantly felt like my stomach was empty and I was starving. Like I wanted food. Like I told the anesthesiologist, I said, I'm starving. And then she's like, well, you got all that room now, you know, that's probably why you feel hungry. And I'm like, and within a millisecond, it went from starving to nauseous as fuck. So then I'm telling her, I'm like, oh, I feel nauseous. And she was like, well, that's common. And I asked her, I said, what happens if I throw up? And it's just like, oh, no, it's okay. I'll get a bag. So in the moment of her grabbing a bag and putting it in my face, mind you, I'm numb. I can't move. I'm sitting there with my arms out. My lower half, I can't even see it. And I'm sitting there like I'm on a cross. And I literally throw up into the bag on the side. And she catches it and cleans my face off. And that was it. My son was here. Sean Don Seegers was motherfucking born. You know that I'm recording the video, but you choose to keep walking in and talking and shit. Like you don't give no fucks. Annoying ass. So yeah, that was my experience. I got a C-section. My son is a C-section baby. So what I've learned from this whole entire experience is it doesn't matter how they enter into the world. It's just important that they do. So he's here, and I have a C-section scar. I do want to briefly talk about post-C-section. Postpartum is way worse than the actual experience, even though I didn't completely go through the whole entire experience. But let me just tell you, if I could have got an epidural postpartum, my motherfucking ass would have been laying in a bed limp as fucking till I healed. When I tell you, it hurt so bad to get in and out of the bed. It hurt so bad to take a number 2. Everything hurts. One word of advice that I would give you guys that are going through this experience is be patient. and have faith that the pain will be over in the future. Be happy that your child is here, and just live in that thought, because of the fact that it's going to feel like shit. Your body is going to feel like somebody beat you the fuck up, but you have a child. And another word of advice is to make sure that you have some type of support, because it is very difficult to move post C-section, and it's going to be about 3 weeks, I want to say, before you can move around comfortably, if not 4. It takes about 6 to 8 weeks to completely heal. Here I am, 6 weeks, and there still is some soreness, but I can move around pretty comfortably. But I can definitely feel like I'm not 100% healed. So good luck to you all who are going to be experiencing a C-section in the future, even if it's unexpectedly. Don't be scared. Have faith, and just be happy about the fact that your child is going to be here really soon. Thanks for watching. Deuces.